Hello and welcome to our channel. Today I'm going to talk about something that I was curious about because I keep on hearing people talk about advanced and basic kata. And so the first thing I did is I did go on Facebook pages and try to find what people seriously thought was the difference between them. And I ended up getting pretty much every answer I got on that, I will say, was a perfect answer. Whether I agreed with it or not, it actually made sense to me. And the one that I actually loved the best, it was actually written by a guy named Michael Mules, who said, and I paraphrase a little, but I took a little bit off the katas are different. There is nothing inherently advanced or elementary about each. And what he was saying is pretty much it's the practitioner that makes a kata advanced or beginning. And you think about it, this is brilliant because if you watch someone who is just learning a kata, doesn't matter what kata they're doing. Let's say they're learning a advanced kata, and that's the first kata they're learning. Well, they're going to do it as a beginner. You can get someone who has 20 years experience, and they can do the first kata that's taught to beginners, and that kata will take a lot of the essence of what's in karate. And so when we're talking about this, it really was, well, what is the difference between it? Well, as I was looking at it, it really is a thing on the person who actually does the kata, really makes the kata advanced or beginning. And I really like that. Now, that's not to say that some advanced katas don't have techniques that are not found in beginning katas uh, that are more advanced, but rather that the individual, the person who's actually doing it, will actually modify the kata, the beginning katas, based on his understanding of how to move in karate. Now, to show this, I actually was interested in seeing two katas, the one that most people consider the most advanced in the style I do, and the one that most people consider the most basic in the style. And the one I actually took was Fugata Echi. Now, when you boil it down to it, and you don't repeat the same moves, there's only one move in Fugata Echi that's not found in Kusanku. Kusanku does have some moves that are not found in Fugata Echi, that's true. But even in Fugata Echi, you have one move that wasn't found in Kusanku, but it is found in other advanced katas, which pretty much says that these do have an essence of what the advanced katas have. It may not be complete, but it's actually the basics. I guess that's why they want to call it basic. But it doesn't mean that the kata itself is elementary. It just means that it doesn't have all the moves that some of the advanced ones. But even there, I actually found that there's one move in Fugata Echi which is not in Kusanku, and I'll deal with that later if anyone wants. Now the other thing that some people actually have mentioned is, well, the advanced katas tend to be longer, and that is usually the case, and that's how they're able to get more moves. But when we look at a kata like Rohai and Fugata Echi, depending on how you count it, you have roughly the same amount of moves in the kata. In Fugata Echi, I was able, depending on how you count it, you could have 6 to 8 moves. In Rohai, you can have 7 to 8 moves. Depending on how you count it, I'm pretty sure some people can even make it more or less, depending on how they want to do it. I'm not talking about the intermediate moves, I'm just talking about the block punch type things. And the thing is, a lot of these katas repeat the moves over again. So that's one of the big things that you end up seeing. So the big thing is, as we look at it, yes, it is hard to tell put a name to advanced and beginning katas. And so the first point I actually found when I did this is it seems like what most people agree upon is advanced katas may tend to be longer and they may have 1 or 2 moves different, but in essence it's the individual and the individual's understanding of the kata that make the kata advanced or elementary. What I mean is, if you're a beginning student, you will only see the beginning portions of a simple kata like Fugata Echi. If you have enough understanding of karate, you'll look at Fugata Echi and you'll understand all the small little intricacies in it. How to move a certain way, how to develop more power, placement, body placement, even things as in why you move forward instead of back. And that's actually has a lot of things to do with the way that karate was meant to be taught. Now you also have to remember when people talk about elementary katas, they usually talk about elementary school katas, which doesn't really seem to make sense. You think about it, I can teach someone Kusanku, and if I don't teach them how to use it, they're not going to be any more dangerous than if I taught them how to, dance a waltz. I don't know how to dance perfect, but hey, I could do the 1, 2, 3, right? And that's actually one of the big things is, yes, Without understanding what you're doing, you're just pretty much going through movements. Now, when I did this, I actually also didn't just talk to martial artists. I decided to talk to a ballerina. And I have a friend who was really big into ballet, and so she ended up telling me about this stuff. And I asked her, how long does it take you to realize that someone is a high level, an advanced dancer? And she actually said something interesting. She said she can she can walk into a room and pick out the high level ballerina just by walking in and watching her walk. There are walks. There are different ways. She actually told me the way people hold their hands when they move in. If they talk, they may actually bring stuff in a certain way, and it is actually based on the movements that they do in dance. Well, she said in one move she can tell how if this person is advanced or not. In essence, think about this in your own style, because I know styles are different, but in your own styles, how long does it take you to know that someone is an advanced practitioner? If you know nothing about them and you ask them to do something, for me in my style, usually it's one or two moves. Uh, I can usually tell, okay, this person is advanced or this person, isn't. And it doesn't matter about their rank. It's about can they develop certain things. Now, some people say, well, what about someone who's older and just can't do it anymore? Even them, they will actually be able to show that even if they're not doing full force punches, they can show the movements, and I can see, okay, that's an advanced person who just happens to not be able to move as much as I did. And so, the thing about an advanced kata and being able, just the advanced kata is the important thing, and the beginning kata is really not being that important. Really tends to be something that is kind of shaky when you think about it. I mean, you think about it when I mentioned Fugata Echi and Kusanku, you're talking about very limited amount of moves difference. I mean, you will do punches, you do kicks, you do blocks, and that's universal in almost every kata. And the things that are different, there are little things and they're spread out. Punches, kicks, and blocks tend to be the majority of karate. I know some people want to say, no, jiu-jitsu, you have all the grappling and stuff. Well, the thing is, if you think the grappling is the important thing in karate, then why wouldn't it be more, if that's actually the part of karate, wouldn't you be better off studying jiu-jitsu or judo? Just one of the things that I would actually tell you is, yes, if you're into grappling and you think that's the heart of karate, you have arts that's the heart of their art. It's judo, aikido, jiu-jitsu. But I'm coming off of that. So what we are talking about again is even in dance, they'll actually tell you the individual makes the dance, advanced or not. It's not the dance that you do. Now, why are these, I'll use elementary for lack of a better, or basic katas, so important? Or why are they not? Well, I would say they are important for a lot of things. One of the first things is this. There's actually Mr. Riggs. It's a gentleman who actually posted I think it was Riggs. Some person ended up posting an article where it actually talked about instead of calling them basic and advanced, they called them unifying and style. I think it was unifying katas for the basics, and they had another word for the advanced. And the unifying katas were what gives a student the important point of almost every karate style that does that kata. Now, here's an interesting thing: is if you look at Fugata Ni and Gekisei Sedai in Gojuru, it's the same kata, but they've been modified for the style. Can someone watch both of them and see how good a karateka one is? Yes, obviously. You can see the same kata is being performed, but you have to understand that some things are more important in one style than another, and so you're going to see that aspect. I'm not saying one is better than the other. I'm just saying that you will have differences and modifications based on the style. So in essence, these unifying katas, one of the most important things they do is they pretty much show what almost all Okinawan karate is going to have within it. That's actually a really big important thing. So if you think about it, we move around a lot. So if you know the basic katas, you can go to another style and understand that you're going to do blocks, kicks, and they may have a different way of doing it, But as you already have the kata, you can modify your basic katas for the new style that you have to do because you moved. Uh, and you can end up then moving into their more advanced katas without having to relearn everything. Now, there is another reason why these, I'm going to call them unifying katas now, are important. And one of the big things is, yes, they are relatively smaller than some of the advanced ones. And that actually gives us something really good, and that is that they're easy to learn. Now, just because they're easy to learn in the basics doesn't mean that you have everything down once you move it. There are some styles where they do a basic kata and they do it exactly the same way from day one up until they reach black belt. The truth is, for me, and it seems like for most of the martial artists I know, they start doing their basic katas a certain way, and as they move up, their basic katas also change. So again, it's not a basic kata at the end. It's a kata done by either a beginner or an advanced person. Now, as these are smaller and easier to learn, there's actually a lot of benefits to them. For one, you can actually teach a class with someone who is extremely high level and correct their intermediate moves, and someone who's low level and correct just the movements. Again, remember, if you have someone who advanced, they will do Fugata Ich as an advanced person. And I'm not talking about changing the timing. I'm talking about the basic techniques will be different because they are more advanced. It's not a thing of, I don't mean to say that, oh, well, the advanced person knows the secrets. What I mean is they have the experience to be able to use more of their body, use more of their body movements, coordinate them to get more power, more speed, and more balance. So their punches become harder, their blocks become harder, and their understanding also becomes different. So for instance, if you think of Shutooka here, there's actually different ways, and if you actually watch carefully and you understand, you can actually see that there's a difference between this block here and this block here. A lot of people basically can't see it unless it's explained. If you can't tell the difference, this here, I'm coming around the body here, and it is a block. An advanced person may actually try, instead of coming around this way, may actually try to do the block straight. So it's a straight line from here to here rather than arching over. And that's something that an advanced person may actually be able to understand, and a beginner doesn't understand how to move the body that way. And so you do have different things in that case. Well, there's actually another advantage to this, and that has to do with how the brain works. And if you are interested, I do have an entire chapter in the Breaking Points book, which gives you all the data, all the articles that I use to determine this. But there's actually two different things that people use to learn. One is watching and one is doing. When you watch someone do a kata that you've done, you actually start picking up how they actually do it. It's actually interesting. The movements of the kata within your head make it so as you watch it, those areas of the brain will be activated. And as they're activated, you end up getting the benefit of learning while you watch. So if you're injured, you can actually watch someone do kata and learn that way. And this actually causes a physical change in your brain. Now, as that physical change happens, you actually do use those patterns for other things. For instance, once you have a pre-existing pattern, such as Fugata Ich, you can then end up using that pre-existing pattern to learn something like Fugata Ni, Pinan Shoda, all the Pinans. As you already now have the blocks, you can now use that to learn Naihanchi. As you know the Naihanchis and the Pinans, and you can then move on to other katas, and you will actually find that you will learn the katas quicker because you have the memory already of how to do the basic movements in the kata. Your mind will actually use those old movements and make new connections out of them. And so, in essence, by learning and teaching these smaller katas, these unifying katas, we can, one, make sure that our karate is united with other styles, and we can understand that our kata will be different because of what we feel is important for our style versus what someone else thinks. Again, not right or wrong, just different viewpoints. The other thing, like I said, is these katas, yes, they are easier, so you can actually use them to learn first and then move on to higher katas because you understand the basics. The other thing is, as they are simpler, you can end up putting the advanced intermediate techniques within them easier than you could with a higher, more advanced kata. For instance, when you're starting to put in your intermediate moves and you use Fugata itch, you can move slow. You're not relying. Sometimes you're not relying on falls or drops. You actually can move slow, so you can add the intermediate moves there, and then move them into Kusanku. The stuff you learn in Kusanku, you can then bring it back to. And so again, it goes back to the first point and the point that it seems a lot of people are making when I ask this question, and that is the individual makes the kata elementary or advanced. If you're an advanced person and you're training with Fugata itch, you can put all your advanced movements, intermediate movements, into that kata. What that means, though, is for someone to truly get a kata, they really aren't, it's not the, oh, I learned the kata, throw it away. They really constantly have to go back to the kata and see what it is they're actually learning. In short, I guess it takes someone who is at least intermediate to understand that, the advanced kata and basic kata, it's not a thing of this is a better kata to learn than this one. It's rather we need different katas to do different things. And we can use the smaller katas, the unifying katas, to incorporate new concepts as they come into us. If you think about it, you don't want your karate to stay stagnant. So with this having beginning katas, you can actually try things, bring them in, you can experiment with them without playing with the advanced katas. And slowly you can make your unifying katas, is what I would like to call them from now on, into advanced katas, because you as the individual have actually found the intermediate steps and how to put them in there. For those of you who already teach intermediate steps, you may actually find this as something obvious. Everyone should know this. But there are a lot of people who actually don't understand that there are intermediate steps in everything. And without them, your katas don't have the power that you would normally have. I'm going to end with one other thing someone put, and I wish I would have written down their names. I'm sorry if it was you're watching and I didn't give you credit. But one person actually wrote, how did he put it? I don't remember. I don't remember what I was going to say. But so I will leave it at this and end with saying I really appreciate you guys being part of this channel. Please write down any comments, ask any questions, and if you want to support the channel, take a look at one of my two books, Serious and the Rarest Things or Breaking Point. They're both available on Amazon. It will help support me and my channel. So, but like I said, I do have another job, but it pretty much is something that's kind of neat to see if people actually like what I do. Or just like, the other thing I was going to mention is I am giving away 5 books. I've given away 3 so far. So in a week. So if you're interested and you live in the U.S. and I can mail it to you, please put on the comments, I would like a book. And I'll see how I can contact you so I can send you the copy. Like I said, I'm going to give 2 more away if you're interested. And I'm only doing it in the U.S. because shipping prices to Europe or out international tend to be pretty expensive. So I will thank you for your time and hope you have a nice day.